Do you already have a NiftyFifty 50mm or thinking of getting one? Then this video is for you. Have you ever wondered how to get the most out of this lens, or ever wondered whether to take the plunge? So let's go and we'll find out on location today. And I'm on location today in the magnificent Lake Vyrnwy in North Wales. It's absolutely stunning here. I'm going to go and take a walk up to the Waterfall, which is right up the valley, probably about 1.5 kilometres. It's a super tall waterfall, lots of slabs, lots of cascades as it comes down the hillside. And I've picked today because of the changeable weather. So what I'm hoping is that we get some atmospheric clouds rolling through the valley, but also we get the occasional bit of sun on the waterfall. I wasn't planning on bringing my tripod. I'm going to take all of them handheld, except I will take my tripod up to the waterfall because I'm going to try this out some long exposures as well. Got the camera in hand, got the lens attached. Let's head on up the valley towards the waterfall and let's get the best pictures we can out of this lens, and let's maximize the potential that this lens has. So one of the benefits and actually the drawbacks of this lens is the very low aperture. Now that's why some people buy this, because it's got f1.8. So let's cover the pros and cons of this. But what we've got here, we've got this lovely leading line, we've got the fern in the foreground, we've got the tree, we've got the clouds starting to roll through. It's starting to get some breaks in it now, some contour. There's a little bit of blue, but I think that's probably a little bit out of image at the moment. We've got the trees framing it on the right. So what I really want to do here is capture this image. So I'm going to go portrait mode initially. I'm going to go into manual mode. I'm going to get the leading lines. I'm going to get above the ferns. I want to focus at f1.8 on the waterfall. And we've got some lovely blur in the fern in the foreground. And that's one of the advantages of the actual lens at f1.8, that narrow depth of field. So I've got a composition now where I want to get the fern in the foreground and the trail. But if I pull this, I've switched to AV mode now. If I pull this to f1.8, what we've got is the fern is nice and sharp, but the rest, the blur is just too much in the distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this up to f9 and actually recapture that exact same image. I want the fern in the foreground, and what we can see now is that we've got the context of the path. Although it's adding a beautiful bokeh, that it's got a lovely blur to the path and to the waterfall. So it's putting the fern in the context of the waterfall, and it's obvious what it is. And that's where you need to be really careful. So f1.8 is kind of a tease for the lens, and it's absolutely superb in certain situations. But don't think that it's the answer to all of your images. And one of the other things with using a prime lens is your composition. And this is one thing I really love about prime lenses. And if you haven't got one, I seriously recommend this to improve your photography. Because what it means is when you want to compose an image, rather than just, if you like, not being lazy, maybe that's not the right word, but what it means is you have to move position. You can't just zoom in or zoom out. So I want to capture the fern and the wall that you can see to the right, in the bottom right, and I want to capture that in the foreground with the tree, with the waterfall in the distance. So what this means now is I have to move position, I have to walk over there. So let's head on over there and we'll capture that image, and then we'll head over to the waterfall. And as I just mentioned, I've moved down now into a much better location, and that's why I really love primes, because it means that you can move location. It means you're thinking more about your composition, and it actually will improve your photography no end. So I've got a great one here where I've got the waterfall in the background. Actually helps if I turn my camera on. I've got the waterfall in the background framed by the branches of the tree superbly. The clouds have got no texture at the moment though, but there's a lovely silhouette there. And you know me, I don't do sky removal and sky replace. I just show you the pictures that I capture on location. And that is why I love prime lenses, because it makes you really think about your composition, your technique. You need to move about the space. You need to scope the space out much more than if you just use the zoom lens. Okay, right, without further ado, let's move on up to the waterfall. And I've got distracted again, but I promise after this image, I'll go straight to the main waterfall to capture some images with this lens. But what I wanted to demonstrate, using this fern as an example, is why, if you've got one of these or you're thinking of getting one of these, you may have an issue with sharpness, and it's because of the super low aperture. So what I'm going to do here is capture some images of this fern with the waterfall in the background and demonstrate why your images may not be sharp. So let me demonstrate here what I'm talking about. If I get low, I want the waterfall in the background. Let's get that composition set. Just need to lean back a little bit. It's not the best composition, but it's really for the demonstration purposes. If I'd have it at f1.8 and capture that, what we can see is that the image is nice and sharp on the focal point, but as we go back through the fern, actually we lose the focus. And that's why if you get one of these or you've already got one, always consider how narrow a depth of field it is when you've actually got an f1.8 lens. So let's now just increase that. I want to bring it up to about f5. I want to make sure that all of my fern is in focus, but the waterfall is out of focus. And there we have it. Lovely, super sharp, all through the fern, beautiful blur and bokeh in the background. Okay, let's, as promised, let's go straight to the waterfall now. So it's warmed up now, the rain has stopped. There's a little bit of sun coming through now. Jacket is off, absolutely brilliant. But normally at this waterfall, we've got these stepping stones on the left that go across the stream. And normally in summer, you can climb the whole side of the waterfall, but we've had so much rain in the last few weeks. The river is absolutely roaring. It's like a winter stream at the moment and a winter waterfall. But you can see the color of the tannins. But in terms of my composition, this is where the power of f1.8 and the low aperture really come in. What I've got in the foreground are these rocks. I've got the trees arching over and framing the lower fall just there. So what I've got here is an absolutely lovely composition. I've got it focused on the waterfall. I've got it f1.8 and oh, I love that image. It's frozen the action superbly of the falls themselves and framed it brilliantly in the middle of the screen. What I'm going to do now is set up my tripod and show you how to capture this using a really low aperture, but to also blur the background. And I suspect I'll have to put an ND filter on this one. And so I've got the tripod set up now with the similar, very similar composition. But one thing like me, if you've got filters for your existing lenses, what you'll need is a step-up ring because the thread on the front of the lens is only 49mm. So let's get that on there. Screw that on to the front. I'm going to try this ND1000 filter. Let's pop that on the front. Let's get our exposure. And what we can see is actually f1.8 has only brought it down to 1/30th of a second. I'm going to capture that image. Let's capture that. We'll get a little bit of movement. We've got lovely blur on the rocks in front. But again, it's not as far as I wanted it to go. So this is where I'm now going to apply my other one. I'm going to stack my ND filters. This has given me a 15-second exposure at f1.8. And again, that's the power of such a wide open aperture. At f1.8, we are getting so much light coming in that even an ND1000 and an ND64 stacked only give us a metered 15-second exposure. And I really like that because we've got great dynamic lines in the waterfall and we've also got the blur in the foreground. The power, absolute power of the f1.8 50mm lens. So would I recommend the NiftyFifty, the Canon f1.8 50mm lens? You know, absolutely I would. It's a great lens, but you've got to learn how to use it correctly. You've got to learn how to cater and how to utilize the f1.8 wide open aperture correctly. Please drop in the comments below if you're using this lens already, what you think of it, and if you're thinking of getting it. If you've got any questions, just drop those in the comments below as well. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and until next time, I will see you very soon, and thank you for your time in watching my videos.